What's good, people? Welcome to Two Guys and a Mic. This is the midweek episode of our podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Pierce, better known as RP.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean.
Big Sean, what's popping, man? How you feeling today, bro?
I'm doing okay, man. I love this time of the year. It's a nice, cool, crisp fall afternoon. You got October baseball. Browns are 2-1. Everything is good.
Everything is kind of looking up.
I'm sure the rest of America didn't feel that way after that debate last night, but I'm good. I know we don't want to get into politics and all that, but
hey, I think that our show after that situation is definitely needed, a break, something to get away from, all of the politics and the different situations that are going on right now.
A little bit of a distraction, got to laugh, you got to smile.
Got a heck of a laugh. That's for sure. But and I'm glad you actually mentioned, all of the crazy things that are happening right now in sports, because I think we're at a unique spot. Probably for the first time ever, or at least in our lifetime, we have the NBA playoffs as well as Major League Baseball playoffs going on at the same time.
Right.
So
you also got the NFL. Don't forget about hockey too. Hockey just wrapped up.
And you know what? And I did. You're right. I left hockey out. They're in the I think they're in the Stanley Cup right now.
They just wrapped up the Lightning one, Tampa Bay.
So so you literally have three major sports, or three at least almost major sports, in their championship rounds within like a month or so of each other, a month and a half of each other.
Right.
And that's unprecedented. And I know I didn't want to say that word unprecedented because they've been using it so much. But really, that is really unprecedented. You've almost never had that occur because each sport at least has respect for the other sport, so that during that time
don't really overlap. Right.
Yeah.
Really, the only two sports that kind of overlap is the NBA and hockey. And,
right.
Most people really don't. I mean, hockey is kind of like a what you want to call it, like a niche sport. It's almost like underground hip hop, almost.
It's kind of like a stepbrother to the major sport.
Like they have their own following. Yeah.
But I didn't want to dismiss it either, because you know what, those guys are definitely athletes and they work hard to do what they do. I can't skate, but
hockey is crazy. Like, you got to be crazy athletic to be a hockey player.
I definitely can't skate and hit a puck. I can't do both.
So, and it's like that behind football, man. It might be even a litlittle rougher than football. Really,
I think it may be a little rougher, and I think you got to be a little bit of a better athlete to be. And
because you're back and forth on that ice. If you ever seen a hockey game in person, it's nonstop.
And that changes everything when you see it in person. Yeah. And I've been fortunate enough to do that. So I kind of designated today as Wild Wednesday because we have the Indians game 2 today.
Okay.
Their playoff series against the Yankees. And we also had the National League starting their playoff series on their side, and then we have a lot of game 2s today. The Astros just actually won. They won their series against Minnesota. I don't know if they cheated or not. They have.
I'm just about to say that. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they found some type of creative way to cheat their way to that victory. Was it 2 games to zip?
I'm going to probably question everything they do going forward. That's just me.
Exactly. He was just beating on garbage cans.
I love Dusty Baker, and I think Dusty is probably
the lizard.
I'll give Dusty his credit because I don't think that Dusty is a cheater.
No, Dusty's a great manager, man.
I think Dusty is one of the greatest managers that we know in our generation.
Yeah.
And I think he's undervalued. I think if he was white, he'd be working for Major League Baseball like Joe Torre. And he's done more than, Joe won a lot of World Series, but Dusty has managed more than Joe did.
Right.
And I think he's
less talent.
I think he's with way less talent, and I think Dusty is more venerable than Joe Torre, and I love Joe Torre, but I think Dusty belongs
In the
loftier.
conversation.
I think he belongs loftier than where we put him. But
I agree.
Let's, while we're on it, why don't we just go on ahead and get into the Major League Baseball playoffs in general before we came into this COVID situation. The Major League Baseball playoffs, for those of you who may not know, is usually set up with 6 teams in either leagues. Two of those teams in each league. I was going to say 4 of those teams, but 2 of those teams in each league play a play-in game. And then whoever wins that game goes into the divisional round, onto the LCSs in either league, and then on to the World Series. Well, again, this is COVID, so it's kind of changed up everything. So you go from 12 teams in the traditional setting. Now we got 16 teams, 8 in each league, and we're playing that first round, not just a one-game play-in, it's a best of 3.
Right.
I'm going to be honest with you, homie. I actually love that best of 3 situation.
I do too. Because that one playoff game is stupid. Because in baseball is a game that just one game does not determine who the best team is.
No, you just good that night. You just good
that night. Right. It's not that type of sport. So right. I always really did. I thought the playing game was a waste of time. It had a little bit of drama because, it's one and done. But the best of 3, you have 3 games in a row. Well, if needed, at the home team site, because of everything that's going on with COVID. I actually like that concept, and I think they should keep it. Maybe not have as many teams.
Yeah.
I think going forward next year, that's something because baseball is in desperate need to get the casual fan back.
I lost my flag. I lost my banner.
Flag fell. I hope that's not an omen.
I
really hope that's not an omen.
I hope it's not an omen. I lost my banner. I don't know what to do right now, but we're going to leave it there. I ain't got time to put it back up. But I agree with you. I think that what we've seen in the past, I kind of like the playing game, but I think the playing game is gimmicky.
It is very gimmicky.
So I'm kind of against the gimmicks. I do, however, having, like, when you're in these best of 3s, like last night, I'm watching the couple games that I watched yesterday, games that I've watched today, and I'm like, everything you do matters. Everything that happens today matters, and you lose, that edge if you do something wrong.
Well, that's the beauty of.
But now you got to come back and do it again tomorrow, and you're absolutely right. That's the beauty of baseball.
That's the beauty of you live and die with every pitch.
One game. I mean, that's like a game 7, but this ain't really a game 7. It's the playoffs, and we should do the best of 3 if you're gonna do a play. I actually like this format where you get a few more teams in, everybody gets a little bit of action.
Right.
And it changes a lot of stuff. So,
and what's crazy is the 2 teams, well, for those that don't know, early in the baseball season when they went ahead and got everything started, you had 2 teams that had severe COVID outbreaks, the Miami Marlins, the St. Louis Cardinals, and they got way behind. I mean, they had to pretty much like shut down all their operations. They got maybe 10 to 15 games behind everybody else and had to play double headers to pick all that up.
Yeah.
Both those teams made the playoffs, and the Marlins won earlier today against the Cubs, I believe. And right now, St. Louis is up on San Diego. I have that game on right now. Yeah, they're up 6-2.
Yeah.
Bottom of the 3rd inning. I mean, that's a lot of baseball because they pretty much had to play every day.
So tell me this. Having said that, do you think that benefited them having to play so much late?
I'm not sure, man. Yeah, I mean, it definitely kept them on their toes. You know what I'm saying? You really didn't have no time to have a letdown at all. So maybe it did benefit them. Now, how the Marlins got in, I don't know, because when they had all those guys catch COVID, they had to bring up pretty much a minor league team
Right.
up to take those guys' place. So that's a testament. I don't know who their manager is. Hold on,
I'm
let me
not
go
sure
ahead.
who they are. I gotta
Let me
do some research on that, but I don't know. However,
look that up.
I do know that Derek Jeter is
Come on, man. Well, you had to
listen,
bring Jeter
listen,
into this.
come on, man. The guy know how to win. Jeter know how to win, bro. Sean,
I'm not going there with you right
Sean
now.
believes that Derek Jeter might be the most overrated guy who has ever played baseball in the
He is
300
one
years
of the
that
most
baseball has
overrated athletes of all time. Oh, Don Mattingly, another one of your Yankees, is the manager of the Miami Marlins. Who knew?
But listen, that's Donnie Baseball, homie.
Donnie Baseball.
That's Donnie Baseball.
Yeah.
All Don Mattingly did was be a Hall of Famer. That's all he did.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Come on, man.
You know, baseball don't like letting people in the Hall of Fame. You can hit,
But
you can hit
listen,
850 home runs and don't get in.
apparently, you can be the all-time hits leader and not get into the Hall of Fame.
Right. Have 4,000 hits, which that record would never be broken.
Man, ever. But let's move a little bit forward. Well, let's talk about the Indians game last night. And as Sean mentioned, I am a Yankees fan. However, as you see, I'm representing my Cleveland squad because Cleveland is the city where I come from. So I'll never root against my city when it comes to being prosperous and successful.
And I personally despise the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I hate their fans. I hate that stadium.
That's not true. That's not true because you don't hate me.
Pinstripes. I hate everything about them.
You don't hate me, so you don't hate all their fans. However, last night the Indians played the Yankees in their first playoff game, and to put it bluntly, the Indians stunk the joint up.
Yeah,
I wasn't happy. I'll be honest. I wasn't happy with anything that I saw. Like anything. I didn't like what I saw from Bieber. I didn't like what I saw from the lineup, and for like 90% of the time. I didn't like what Alomar did as a manager. I questioned some of those things too. What did you pick up? What did you see?
I was thoroughly disgusted. Very disgusted. I didn't think I thought Bieber had ice water in his veins. I didn't think he would come out there and be nervous and throw a bunch of meatballs.
Do you think it was nerves, or do you think it became nerves?
I think it was nerves because he doesn't leave fastballs hanging like that. I mean, when you watch Bieber all season, now granted, we didn't play the Yankees at all this season. We played mostly the Central Division. Now, people will say that our division stinks, but Minnesota, Chicago had pretty good seasons.
Yeah.
When you watch Bieber, he has movement, man. His balls never go straight down the plate.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me. That dude was off. He was off.
And he was just hanging fastballs, and the Yankees, here's the thing I like about them, they were being aggressive. They said, okay, we're not going to wait. We're going to attack.
Bieber did not get his off-speed stuff, his breaking stuff. He didn't get any of those over for strikes like that, like he normally does. And that hurt him. And then his placement, like you said, of the fastball was awful.
Yeah, you can't beat those guys with gas. You can't beat those guys with gas.
Nah.
They're waiting.
Nah.
I mean, unless you're throwing, 98, 100, and Bieber's not a flamethrower like that.
Yeah, them dudes were sitting on them fastballs, man. They were sitting on those fastballs like nothing else because they felt like he's going to have to get those off speed, those shades up, those breaking balls, they're gonna have to call that a strike in order for me to believe it's a strike.
Right.
And I
my
think
thing
that
is, go ahead.
no, I just think that the Yankees did their homework, and I tip my cap to Aaron Boone
Yeah.
On that one, the Yankees manager, because
Right.
I would not have expected that out of it, because the Yankees are hit or miss. They're either gonna hit 6,000 home runs tonight, or they're gonna miss everything and strike out 52
Exactly.
times. Like they're not. There is no in between with them.
Exactly.
So to get a guy like Bieber with his level of talent, you would think that he would try to challenge their impatience at the plate. I didn't see that. I saw them being very patient. I saw them being very much, I'm going to wait on this fastball. His fastball has zero movement. And I think once Judge hit that home run, first pitch, home run, as soon as he hit the home run, it was over.
Yeah.
It was over.
It deflated the team because that's your ace. You know, I look at Garrett Cole. He went out there and he dominated. Now some of the Indians have pretty good at bats, like Naylor. Naylor played with Naylor. You know, Jose did his thing.
Yep. Naylor played
what he was supposed to do. Trevor Bauer today, and I knew this was gonna happen. As soon as he leaves here, he was gonna go and finally realize his potential. You know, they lost today, but he threw, I think it was like 7 or 8 scoreless innings today.
Well, Trevor Bauer wasn't an awful pitcher. He just is a wacky individual.
Yeah, like playing with drones before the game, getting your fingers sliced open in the World Series.
The freaking World Series, dog. What are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Like you need to be literally. I hate to say that, but he needs to be in a bubble.
Right. So, but going forward with tonight's game, we got Cookie Carrasco going, and I think the Yankees have Tanaka.
Yep, they got Masahiro on the mound tonight.
We can touch him up a little bit, but here's the thing: Cookie has to have a clean first 2 innings. We cannot go down 2-0, 3-0 early, because if we do, our hitters gonna start pressing, and it's not going to be a pleasant game. So
I agree.
That's my key.
Now, I agree.
Here's something else too. Now I have my crack staff put together some numbers for me.
Not the crack staff again, bro.
Crack staff. And here's the shock, man, because I've been real hard on Frankie, right? I've been real hard on Lindor, and I've been praising Jose Ramirez. Now here's the problem. So since 2016, both Lindor and Ramirez have a total of 24 playoff games, right?
Okay.
Lindor has hit 264, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 1 stolen base.
In 16 games.
24 games.
Oh, 24 games. I'm sorry.
24 games.
Okay.
24, yeah. So for somebody he's supposed to be a $400 million man, that's not good enough to me in the playoffs when it counts. Now I didn't dig deeper into the stats as far as what it averages with runners in scoring position and things like that, but I don't think that's all that hot either.
No, that's a good. It's still a good stat though, bro.
Right, but here's the thing: here with Jose Ramirez, who I believe is the heart and soul of the Cleveland Indians and really the team leader. His numbers, 24 games, he's batting a paltry 200 with 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and no stolen bases. You cannot win consistently in the playoffs with your 2 stars.
You're not going to win.
Hitting like that. So I guess, the only thing that's really been saving us is just our pitching staff has been so elite, the last, 6-7 years, they've been keeping us in these games. But at some point, I think, that pressure on the pitching staff, they got to go out every night saying, I don't know what kind of
they got to pitch lights out, like lights out.
I got to pitch, and you can't have that kind of pressure. And every now and then, your offense has to step up and take the pressure off the pitcher instead of vice versa.
Yeah.
So tonight, man, it's put up or shut up time. Our captains, our leaders, on this team, man, they have to step up, and it starts with Lindor, Jose, and even Santana. Santana's been here for 10 years. Like, you have to
Carlos is awful at the plate right now, bro.
set the tempo. And I would love to see the Indians, use some speed. Whoever got the speed guys that we have, utilize them. Like, put pressure on the defense, bunt, steal some base, like play some old school small ball base, because everything we're not hitting, but we have to figure out a way to manufacture some runs and put pressure on that defense. Our batters are impatient, and we take all the pressure off their pitchers. They just throw anything up there, and we're swinging at it and whiffing. So that's what I want to see tonight, man. It's put up or shut up time.
Absolutely. I mean, and I agree almost with pretty much with everything that you just said. Almost every point, I think I agree with you. I think that today we have to have the small ball game. I thought that yesterday, but I think the playoffs are built for small ball.
It is.
And you got to do the small ball stuff. We always try to out home run everybody. I just think the small ball is where it's won at. So here's the other part about the small ball thing. The Yankees aren't that great in the field.
No.
So if you do the small ball stuff, if you get your bunts out there, if you get kind of slap hits to get over, and you try to put pressure on the pitcher to make good pitches enough that you can keep guys off the base, or guys that are on the bases that they're on, rather. Or where you get guys that have to make a tough down the third baseline play, and then get up, turn around, and throw it all the way to first without it being an error.
Right.
Little nuances like that can change how the momentum is swinging, and we don't do enough of those things.
And most teams don't, man. Like baseball now, they've gotten away from that. I guess with all the analytics and stuff, it's all about the 3-run homer. And you see how guys, but like they don't care about strikeouts anymore.
They don't. But the thing about the small ball is that whether you strike out or not, you take a guy that strikes out a lot and you give him 2 guys on base, it changes how you're being pitched.
Exactly.
It changes everything. So you have to start to utilize the things that are at your disposal to give you the advantage. And
go ahead. I'm going to cut you off. My bad.
No, I just don't think that we're doing that. I don't think that we're doing that. And I don't see it a lot in baseball in general. But the teams that do that usually get further in the playoffs. I saw San Francisco do it for about 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Right.
2 out of 3 championships. I saw St. Louis do it. Yeah, they had Pujols, but guess what? They had a whole bunch of other guys that just a lot of times did the small parts.
Man, put the ball in play
to get themselves. Bochy and La Russa are old school guys.
Yeah,
they understand how the game should be played when you get to the playoffs.
Here's the thing about sports, man. No matter how much you have these new techniques and ideas and stuff, it still comes down to the fundamentals.
It's fundamentals. At the end of the day,
you still have to play deep. You got to pitch. You got to field. You got to put the ball in play.
Those are the things. Fundamentals are always going to win over whatever the new thing is, whatever that new thing might be. Fundamentals will always take precedence. And moving a little bit forward, because some of this has something to do with my next point, Sandy Alomar has to do a better job of managing this game. This is something that I as I've gotten older, I don't know that I felt like this as a kid or when I was younger and watching sports, but as I've gotten older, I've started to understand a little bit more, especially about about baseball. When you're in the baseball playoffs, every game is game 7. Every game. Yeah. Not game 3, not game 7. Game 1 is game 7. You cannot act like it's the regular season. Jerry Francona loves his players so much, he's just going to ride with it.
Yeah.
I saw Sandy Alomar do the exact same thing.
I agree 100%.
I thought Shane Bieber should have came out of the game yesterday around the third inning, stayed in fifth because he
didn't have it.
Third.
He didn't have it.
He didn't have it, and he ended up giving up 2 more runs, leaving him in the game, which put your offense that was already struggling, which is already not as good as it needs to be, and put him in the hole, bro.
You think about managing. You have to know when to stop the bleeding, and also you have to know when to let your guys work out of a bad situation.
Look, it ain't about her feelings, man. You stink today.
It ain't about her feelings, right? Exactly.
Hey, put the ball right here, man.
Right. The way Bieber was pitching last night, we knew he wasn't going to work himself out of anything last night.
He wasn't. He wasn't. He might get a guy out. He might strike a guy out. But then you got Aaron Judge coming up, or you got somebody else coming up who already crushed you in the last inning or the last at bat. So they have the confidence. You don't. And the announcer's still saying he keeps looking at the mound like maybe it's his footing. Listen, man, I don't know that there's anything more superstitious than baseball.
Right.
If that's what was happening, because we couldn't see it, they weren't showing us that. If that's what was happening, he jinxed himself. As soon as he felt something weird, he never felt regular at it. So, with baseball being what it is, Sandy was a catcher rather, who caught a bunch of pitchers. Sandy needs to know that, understand that, and know when to go get his guy and not listen.
But he's learning from Francona.
And here's my thing. That's my point. That's my actual point. That's why I started with Terry. Francona loves his players, and he lets them they'll work their way out of this. This ain't the time for you to, you know what, you got 162 games to work your way out of some shit. Right now ain't the time to work your way out of some shit. We have to, as a manager, I say we, meaning the Indians, but as a manager, we have to get in there and just say, hey, man, you ain't got it tonight. That also does something for the guy. It pisses him off. But guess what? If we don't let you go 5 dumbass innings, we might be able to play you in game 6 when we really need you.
Exactly.
And maybe you'll show up in a game 6 or a game 5. Like, you have to think that way. And I don't know that Sandy, I want to see what's going to happen tonight, but I don't know that Sandy's minded that way.
Right. And then that's always been my pet peeve with Francona. And I was calling for Francona to get fired 2 years ago.
You absolutely were.
And people looked at me like I was crazy. And I said the reason why is because he's loyal to a fault. Now, this isn't his fault, but the front office has not addressed the outfield at all. I hate the platoon system. I can't stand it. It's a different outfield every night. Those guys can't. Baseball, you need the rhythm. You need to get at bats to get a rhythm. Like now, after 30 games, if they're not performing, okay, you maybe have to shake things up. But every other night, it's a new outfield in there. So those guys can't get a rhythm. I can't stand it.
That's that cheap money thinking, bro. They want to try to outsmart, and I hate that about Cleveland sports. We got nothing but front offices that want to outsmart everybody.
Right.
Instead of just doing the stuff that they need to do, they always want to be the smartest guys in the room, and that can't always happen.
And I think because, too, like the Indians don't get me the line, but maybe since 2014 has had the best record in the American League overall.
I'd have to.
So it's something like that. Yeah, it's something. So I think because of that, because they've been able to get in the playoffs without spending a lot of money. And yeah, we did spend on Encarnacion. Like who else? What the big names?
I wish they still had it. I thought they should have picked him up.
Yeah, and they maybe a couple of pitchers they spent big money on. Andrew Miller, they spent big money on. So a few times they have done that. But I think because they've been able to get away with it and get to the playoffs and make deep runs, and even get to a World Series,
bro,
they figure that they don't have to.
We're 30 years into that concept, though.
Yeah, you're right.
We are 30 years into that concept. And we've been to 3 World Series in 30 years. We've been an elite team in terms of record and stuff like that for probably half of those 30 years.
Right.
We have 0 championships.
0. That's just what, 1948?
Yeah, we got 0 championships. So I'm not sure if that's the concept that's going to work. They got it. I think there's probably a happy medium somewhere. I don't know that we have that
happy medium, because here's the thing is, you don't want to be Detroit. You don't want to put all that money and then you got an out of shape fat Miguel Cabrera running around still making about $40 million a year, and he's done. But you still, he got that guaranteed contract, and now they can't really make any moves because they got too much money sucked up into.
I mean, but you got to pick and choose, and I think that's in any sport. You have to figure out, again, that happy medium. What's the guy that you're going to spend, or who's the positions that you will spend, and then, turn that on its ear a little bit.
That's why right now I wouldn't give Lindor that type of money, because he hasn't done anything to, like back in the day, when Albert Bell's contract came up and those guys did enough in the playoffs and during the regular season. Like, yeah, we need those guys. Frankie, and he's just not. But he's not even focused this year, man. He's making errors on the base pass.
Once it becomes, here's the question: what do you have if you don't sign? Where do you go if you don't?
Well, that's where the Indians now the Indians do have a great farm system. We're able to bring up guys.
Mostly pitchers, though, because Tyler Naquin is from the farm system too, and you say he stinks.
He does, but so was Jose. And Frankie were in our farm system. You know what I'm saying? So we have guys in the pipeline. Here's an example. When Bryce Harper left Washington, it was no way, they're done. They need Bryce, and they won a World Series the next year.
Come on, man. Now, all I'm gonna say about this is they still didn't replace Bryce Harper. They just to put themselves in that spot, and I won't argue with that actual point. I won't argue with that. They didn't replace Bryce Harper's salary.
Here's the thing, though, because Bryce Harper was a choke artist in the playoffs anyway.
And okay, and that's why I say I'm not disputing that what you actually said was what you actually the point you actually went to after you said that they moved on without him was more important than them moving on without him. They filled in his spot with other guys that were capable of doing the things that maybe he couldn't do in the postseason, or what he was missing in the postseason, which I will agree with that. If we can find somebody,
great pitching.
But we proven that we can do that? Because whatever is left on this team, these guys still stink in the postseason. I mean, let's look at this. Here's another point. The Indians have the longest elimination game losing streak in the Major League Baseball. They're at 9 games facing.
Yeah.
So
might be 10.
We have a guy that can break through those things. Do we have anybody on the team, minus Frankie, that you say to yourself, now I would say J-Ram could possibly be that guy. He played well. I can't put any stock in Naylor right this second.
No.
He did play yesterday, so he looked good. Right. However, playing tonight against Tanaka, this dude's only giving up 10 runs in his 40 innings in the playoffs.
Okay.
I mean, he's a good playoff pitcher. And that's what I mean. Or that's kind of towards your point about guys showing up in the playoffs. You got to have guys that are playoff ready. We had the Cy Young winner before when we had Kluber, and all he did was stink up the place when the playoffs came.
Right. We turn out Cy Young winners. We've had what?
Nick, we spit them out.
We spit
them out like no other team.
Last 10 years?
Yeah. We spit them out like no other team. However, when the playoffs, when they turn those lights on and it really means something, those guys stink. And that's what I saw in Bieber last night too. Like, I hope he's not another Kluber who can pitch your way through the regular season that don't really matter.
Now, I think it's a little bit different only because like Kluber actually had a good playoff run, like 2016. Remember the whole pitching staff got hurt. Kluber was lights out that whole playoffs and the World Series until that last game. It was a little bit shaky, but for the most part,
and that's what I'm talking about. Here we are, Game 7. This is where it all matters. Same thing I used to say about Kershaw until recently.
Yeah,
he stunk it up.
Yeah, that's true.
He stunk. Nobody was afraid of him in the playoffs. And the thing about the playoffs is it becomes everything's under a microscope at that point. And now we have 30 games on film. We have different, you got left-handed guys, you got right-handed guys. You have how he pitches to power hitters. You have how he pitches to guys that just hit for average. You got all of these different stats and all of these different pieces of film that you can go back and study this guy on. And then he gets to the playoffs and he has none of those things because these guys can just sit and watch you. And the thing about a playoff series, and you know this from basketball too, when we can concentrate on one thing that you do well, it changes everything. Because the coaches can just go back. Now, we don't have a different guy tomorrow. We got the same dude. What did he do tonight? Oh, damn, that's the same thing he did. Okay, we're going to make an adjustment. If you have a smart coach or you have a smart manager, they're going to make the adjustments. And my question is, the one thing that we do well, which is pitch, what of our pitching stink?
Yeah. So hopefully Cookie, he's been there. He's a veteran. He's been there. He's been through the wars.
I like Cookie out there on the mound. So
we need Cookie tonight.
I said it before the series started. I said the Indians 2-1. I'm sticking with Indians 2-1. I think because the Yankees are hot and cold, I think that we have an opportunity to squeeze out maybe like a 2-1 win tonight.
Okay.
But I gotta hope that everybody got to show up, like from Sandy all the way down to the worst guy with a stick in his hand, which right now is it's Carlos Santos.
Man, I'm not as positive as you today. I think it's over.
You think it's 2-0 nothing? You think it's 2-0 tonight? It's over.
It's done. Yeah. Now the weather's gonna play a factor because you're gonna have like 30 to 40 miles.
It's pretty breezy out.
It all depends on which way that wind is blowing now.
You see my wind? It's blowing out to the left.
Yeah, it all depends on which way that wind is blowing at
it blew my back
at Progressive Field. Yeah, but I'm thinking the Yankees are gonna go ahead and close it out. Like I can see like a 7-4 ball game. So we'll see how it plays. I hope I'm wrong, man. I want to be wrong.
I got on my Jacobs Field T-shirt today, so I'm hoping this brings us some luck. And I said Jacobs Field, not goddamn Progressive.
I know.
Jacobs Field.
I hated that, man. You know what? We were like one of the last cities to not have a corporate sponsor on our stadium. Then once Jacobs Field went to Progressive Field, all the other stadiums and arenas in Cleveland, fell victim
everybody
to
the Q. I still don't call it Q. Q is the gun. I still call it the gun.
You're right.
Still a gun. I still call it Brown Stadium. I don't call it First Energy.
Yeah, it like back in the day, man. Stadiums have personality.
Yeah,
it may have been done
supposed to,
but
I understand from a corporate standpoint, you got to make that money. But just to me as a fan, they'll never get that corporate sponsorship out of me. Unless this show gets some corporate sponsor.
Exactly, man. So
all right. So let's skip past baseball. I think we kind of delved into that a little bit. We'll get more into it as the playoffs go on further, especially if the Indians are included. But we're gonna talk about it anyway. Just like the NBA. So tonight is the finals. I think it starts tonight at 9.
Yes, sir.
We have the Heat and the Lakers. I picked the Heat to win
You did.
the other night.
Called that one,
against
man.
the Celtics.
Called that one.
And they did. They pulled that out. I think it was important for them to win. Like I said back then, in the last cast that we did, I felt like it was important. Like going to Game 7 was just it's already gonna be tough enough to beat the Lakers.
Right.
So it's gonna be even tougher if you got to go a Game 7 and expend that energy. And I think that's what happened to Denver. You expended that energy and that many Game 7s.
Yeah.
Now you got to play against a team that's
right.
in a nutshell,
especially playing every other day too. So.
Right. And yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't expend that kind of energy and then turn around and think you're gonna play against a guy as ready athletically as LeBron,
right?
And think that that's not going to be a problem on the back end.
Right.
So
now, I'm gonna give Miami credit, man. I sat there and watched them in that fourth quarter. I heard like that the second half of that fourth quarter literally snatched their heart out of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was like, who's the character on Mortal Kombat that takes your heart out on the fatality? Is it Johnny Cage?
What's his name? Yeah, he throws a thing. He goes right into your chest.
No, you're talking about Scorpion. No, but it's
he
a
goes right into
move.
your chest at when they say finish him or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Johnny Cage.
Yeah, that's Johnny.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Well,
they literally pumped them.
But you know what?
6 minutes.
I think they already had them pumped before that game, and Boston was up in the game. I think they were up by like 6 at a certain point. And I said to myself, the 6 ain't enough. Like, I don't think even Boston 6 was enough to overcome whatever might end up happening in the rest of this game. So it just kind of became, and then they lost by like 9.
Yeah, right. Something like, crazy.
You up 6 going into the fourth, and then you end up losing by 9, bro. That's a 15-point swing.
You know what? No, Boston had the Kemba Walker problem. He didn't show up at all. I mean, he has the Kemba Walker problem, man. He's not stepping up. Like
Kemba. Okay, in the playoffs. So I'm not gonna jump all over. Kemba played as well as Kyrie did, and listen, you know I love Kyrie, but I think Kemba fit better in that system. It was a little bit freer offensively for the young guys, Brown and shoot, why can't I call his name? But I think the offense was freer for them. They didn't have to wait so much because if those guys wanted, let's say, 15 shots a game, let's just say. Well, Kyrie wants 15 or 7 to 17 too. Kemba don't need that many shots. Like Kemba is a little more efficient offensively than Kyrie on a game-to-game basis.
And I'm looking up Kemba Walker's playoff stats now.
See, that's why I said I'm not talking about the playoffs. That's why I said I wasn't gonna jump all over you because I couldn't argue about what he's done in the playoffs.
I saw that dude taking a bunch of bad shots.
But those are shots that he generally hits. Now, the question, and listen, and that's even worse if you ask me, that you can't hit those shots in the neutral spot because the bubble was neutral.
Right.
So if you can't hit those spots in a neutral, or hit those shots rather, in a neutral spot, it does bring into question what you can do in the playoffs and when the playoffs are its biggest. Because it doesn't get bigger than the Eastern Conference Finals, you know what I mean? And when you're not showing up, I mean, what does that do? What does that do, and what does that say?
Exactly. All right. So Kemba Walker, I didn't know that the Hornets made the playoffs in 2014 and 16. So I learned something new today.
Yeah, I remember that.
I thought they stunk ever since he's been there. But all right, Kemba Walker, field goal percentage. He shot 44% from the floor.
Okay.
Not
Not great, but not awful.
And so I mean, he's a guard. 85% free throws,
From the throw line, that's good.
and oh, come on with the average. I don't have time to sit here and figure out what his average was. It just give me the total points.
Yeah, here we go.
The
Listen,
average. Yeah, he had 130 or 334 points in the playoffs. So it doesn't give me the average. But let me see per game. Let me see if it does that. There we go. All right, 19.6 points per game. 5 assists. Turnover rate was like 4. So he was like, all right, man, but
that's not enough for the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's
to me, this with the eye test, he wasn't really playing smart to me, and really to compliment those guys. Tatum does what he does. Jaylen Brown was playing lights out. Even Marcus Smart, he plays his role, man. I think Kemba, but that's probably like his first time really probably feeling that pressure too.
Yeah, he's never been in the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. I don't think he's been out of the first round, to be honest.
So, I mean, he's a good player, but I think that he really hurt them, in the playoffs. Like that.
Could be. I mean, you got to think about this too, and kind of hint it around it. The NBA playoffs, because you have the 7-game first round, it does change the pressure factor. You can play the first round like you played the other 82 games almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do so much work. You kind of just get that first round in and out the way and get on to the second round. Which is, I'm gonna dig into this bag just a little bit, but that's why I like the older, basketball when I was a kid. First round, you had 5 games, man. You better figure that. You better figure that shit out. You better figure that shit out quick. Like, it was pressure in the first round. You lose the first game, they only got to win 2 more games. Yeah. Especially if you lose that first game
at home.
Yeah.
You lose it at home. It's rough.
You lose that first game at home, because now you got to travel on game 3 to their spot with 2 games. And I think at certain points in the NBA, you played the 2 games at home, and then it went 1-1-1-1-1. That was early. In the NBA. So you never got the 2 back-to-back games, but then when they gave it to the 2 back-to-back games, that's pressure, bro. And I don't think that the first round you see those pressures anymore. And that might be part of the issue with what you see in Kemba. He's not used to being past the first round. He didn't really play superbly in the second round, to be honest with you. He didn't play bad, but he didn't play superbly. Like, what effect did he have? Jason Tatum was playing out of his goddamn mind in the second round. They played really good.
Tatum, man. I like Tatum a lot. He's only 22?
Listen, bro, I said it in
22 or 23
shows. Yeah. He young as hell. I said it in one of the earlier shows that I did not give this dude enough credit for how good he was coming out of college. I thought he was going to be an all right player, but I didn't really understand why everybody thought he was going to be.
It's hard to. I mean, with the one and done, now it's hard to really see the full potential. Like, these guys really get to the NBA and learn on the job. So most of the guys, when they don't really come into their own until year 3, 4, or 4.
He's in a higher percentage bracket of those guys.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And are what you thought they were going to be at an early spot. Like, some guys do figure it out, but they're like in their 8th year.
I'll give you a classic example. Anthony Davis. When Anthony Davis was at Kentucky, I thought he would be a Tyson Chandler in the league. He would be a defensive stalwart, block shots, rebounds. I didn't see anything else in this game. He came in, man. He worked at his craft, and this dude now, man, he's
scary.
He's hard to really kind of even box. Like what position did you put him in? Is he a power forward? If he is center, he can handle the ball, shoot the 3 down. He's in a whole category of his own.
He's scary. Like, you can't The word that I've been hearing here more recently is positionless. I don't know that he's a
Yeah,
five.
right.
Honestly, I don't know that he's a four. He can do, a lot. And that's going to be scary for Miami. Honestly, I don't agree with Charles Barkley that often, but I agree with Charles Barkley. If the Lakers are going to win, it's going to be because of AD. It's not going to be because of LeBron.
Of course, because LeBron's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah,
LeBron's going to be LeBron.
But
they need AD to do what he's supposed to do.
If you get this kid to be what this kid has been in the other rounds this season, yikes. That's yikes. Now, I do like and I said this on the Sunday show, I like what Miami brings to the table. I think if there's a team that can beat LA, it's Miami. However, it's going to be tough to beat LA, especially we're talking without the injuries. We're talking about everything on paper.
Everything being equal,
like it should be. The advantage that I give to the Heat is their toughness, mental toughness, not just the physical toughness. The physical toughness, because they are very physically tough. And the biggest advantage that I give them is Spoelstra's been here many times before. He's actually probably lost more at this level than some of the guys on the Lakers have ever been to. And Pat Riley, they have great leadership from top to bottom.
I agree.
Going to the coach, and then you get into the guys on the court rather. Guys like Jimmy, guys like Iggy, who have been here before. Jimmy's never been there, but a guy like Iggy, who's been here before. Iggy's been to 4 championship series.
Now, speaking of Iggy, and watched them the other night, and same thing with Jimmy Butler. Do they not have barbers in the bubble? I mean, because Jimmy Butler is running around like he an extra from Django.
Bro, don't do that when I'm drinking, because
I'm like Jimmy.
I kind of knew where you was getting ready to go, and I was hoping. As I was drinking, I was like, I hope you don't say anything about Iggy's hair. Iggy has just decided that I'm just gonna wake up every morning and go straight to the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, it's not no shave November yet. I guess they. Yeah.
I'm not gonna wash. I'm not gonna dry. I'm just gonna get up and go straight. I mean, this dude is Grady Wilson right now.
Yep, they're John Wayne. You know how John Wayne be in the desert for 12 days with no shower, no nothing?
Man.
That's what they doing right now.
His hair is awful. He legitimately has, and I'm an old guy. He legitimately got old guy hair right now. I feel like after tonight, I'm gonna see him at McDonald's with his coffee, having a round table with all the other old guys.
Hey, dude. Hey, man. You know what? I used to ear hustle those guys. Like when I used to work downtown.
Them cats have saved the world so many times.
Right. I used to be sitting off on the side and just getting all types of wisdom.
Them cats have saved the world.
They'd be there every morning, like clockwork.
Yeah.
About 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Look.
But they coffee, they had big muffins.
For sure.
Dropping knowledge.
For sure. Dropping all levels of jewels that we ain't ready for. You ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for that kind of smoke.
Exactly.
Man. You sit your young ass down there at that table if you want to. You're not ready. You need about 30 more years, young boy. How old is you?
Right.
50? Yeah, nigga, come back when you got 30 more years on you.
Right. All right, man. So what's your prediction on the series?
Well, I think that what the Heat, again, I think that the Heat have a good chance. However, I don't think they're going to win. Just being honest.
No, they're not.
They play a lot of zone defense, and I think that's going to help them. I don't know how much it's going to help them, because if they play the zone and the Lakers hit their shots, they're going to end up having to come out of the zone. And that has been something that has worked for Miami. Again, I think that Spo understands how to play and what to do. So from a coaching standpoint, I think they're going to always be there to be honest, I think it's just going to end up falling to a talent thing, and the Lakers have more talent.
And LeBron is trying to secure his legacy.
He's trying to keep his legacy at least where it is. He's trying to
wins with the Lakers.
Yeah, he's trying to keep his legacy at least where it is. He doesn't want it to go lower than what it is.
Right. If he wins with the Lakers, he's won three championships with three different teams. And then you have to put him in a conversation for the best of all time at that point.
I don't. And I won't.
Think you do.
Because he's not.
To me, now I agree. I think I still have Jordan at the Mount Rushmore.
Hey, listen, I may even have LeBron. I may even have LeBron on Mount Rushmore. However, who's the best?
Yeah, the best of all time. I still have Mike.
Mike.
But what I'm saying is the national pundits, the millennials, you see, don't flaw LeBron.
This dude could lose the next 52 championships, and they same guys are gonna still think or feel like he belongs in the conversation.
He's gonna be in that conversation. Now, if they lose this series, I don't want to hear nothing else about him being a GOAT.
But listen, I disagree with you on that. I agree again. This second time, at least on this one show, where I agree with Charles Barkley. When LeBron lost, and what was that, 2017, he said something very significant. He said, the next person that tells me that LeBron James is the greatest player ever, I'm going to slap him in the face. I agree. He's not. He won't ever be.
He lost in 17 to Golden State?
Yep.
Why do you say that?
Did you watch the series?
Yeah, but they had KD, though. I mean, that wasn't a –
Bro. We're not talking about. You're talking about it in a vacuum. I'm talking about the actual game. I'm talking about the games, not practice. The games.
Right.
The games. Did you watch the games? Because if you remember the games, I said the same.
Yeah, but once Golden State got KD, man, it was a wrap at that point.
No, and no. I'm not going. Nope and no. This is how the game is played now. This is how the game is played.
Now, I will fault LeBron when he let KD come on the court and just walk into that three.
Listen, I've been.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, dude, you gotta step up on defense at that time.
After that 3-pointer, LeBron was done. He did. LeBron gonna give you numbers anyway.
Right.
So to say to me, oh, but he's still average, I don't want to hear that, because that ain't why I don't call him the greatest.
Right.
It has nothing to do with his ability. I know what his ability is. His ability, he one of the all-time greats, and he's always going to be that. However, he's not the greatest, and he will never be the GOAT. He is the greatest athlete, I think, that has ever played. So if you want to,
I will also say that he's the most unique NBA player of all time.
He is unique, and it's hard to put him in one spot. It's hard
you can't compare him to any other.
Right, that's what I mean. That don't make him the greatest.
Right.
Being
now here,
I've always said this: being the greatest is bigger than stats. Being the greatest is bigger than how many all-stars and all. It's bigger than that. It's right. What did you do with this particular moment when it meant the most? How did you perform at all times when this was the case? I don't see that from LeBron enough to say that that's what he is. And I'm not a Michael Jordan. I wasn't. You know who my favorite player of all time still is to this day. It's Magic. It ain't Michael Jordan. It's the other MJ.
Right.
It's Magic.
Right. And this as a precursor, just to let America know that Cleveland, Ohio has a love-hate relationship with LeBron James. You have people here that LeBron James can do no wrong.
Yep.
It is what it is, and that we're a bunch of ungrateful, whatever. You have people like me that, yes, he came back and delivered a championship, something I've never seen in my lifetime.
And I'll take it.
Thank you. But there's the other side of it that, because here in Cleveland, we feel like we have a chip on our shoulder because we've always been made fun of, and we're still made fun of. And the fact that LeBron, as a superstar, he put us like on the world stage. Him and Bone, like are the two.
Yep.
Put us kind of like on the.
Shout out to Bone Thugs and
Yes,
Harmony.
sir.
Shout
out to Bone.
They don't even know what they've done for me in my lifetime.
Right. They put us like kind of like, because Cleveland was kind of like, we just that city in Ohio on a lake called a mistake on the lake. And LeBron, he put the spotlight on us, and he left twice. In the history of sports, no city has had a superstar, like an icon level superstar, leave them twice, especially in the manner that he did it. And that really, the second time he left didn't really hurt as bad as the first time, but it was like, okay, he's still like, we're not good enough for you. And the media, the national media always had this perception that Cleveland does not deserve a superstar on that level.
Well,
that's the thing that really, really kind of got under my skin. Is like, okay, why can't we have that? And LeBron perpetuated it by leaving twice.
Well, again,
and that's my beef with it.
I don't really have beef with LeBron from those, not from those specifics. And I won't really get into why I feel like I feel
right
about him on a personal level, but LeBron, the basketball player, the things that I've seen from the basketball player, because I keep it on the field, or the court or whatever. It has nothing to do with outside of this. I know people are like, oh, he's the greatest ever because he does these things. It's just like the MVP. It has nothing to do with how many interviews I get. How many home runs did I hit? How many baskets did I make? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if this guy don't think I was nice to him. So he's not going to vote for me because I wasn't nice to him. The MVP should be won on the field, not in a court of, fat guys that eat donuts every morning. And that's how I feel about who the GOAT is. Like, the GOAT should be a guy that, when I look at this dude, I'm like, I can't do anything close to what that guy has done. And not the dunk. Maybe it's not the physical stuff. Maybe it's in that particular moment.
Right.
When all else is everybody else is like this, but this dude is like nothing is happening. He's in this Zen moment. And I've seen Michael Jordan do that over and 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 over in multiple situations, whether it was a regular season game, whether it was a playoff game, and definitely when it was a finals game. I've seen LeBron do it over and over and over. But I got about 5 or 6 other things where I'm like, what the fuck were you doing?
Right.
Why did you pass it to him in this moment? Or why did you do this in this moment?
Right.
I really can't think of those moments when it comes to Michael Jordan. And again, I try not to get into that conversation because I feel like the eras were different. And when you change the era, you change the rules. You had a 7-foot tree stump parked in the lane. There was no defensive 3 seconds like it is now. You didn't have guys getting flagrant 1s and 2s where you get the ball back and you get to shoot free throws and get the ball back. Right. None of that stuff existed. The 3-pointer wasn't that important back in the day. It was something that you used, but it was something that you specialized in. Now, the 3-pointer is as important as a layup.
Right.
So the game is different. I try to keep it in perspective. However, it's hard for me to just say that LeBron James is the greatest player because he did this or that. At this point, I've seen enough. there's nothing this dude could ever do to make me believe that he's the greatest player of all time. Because right now he's just chasing accolades to argue the point.
Even if you ripped off three championships in a row with the Lakers,
it's just
you wouldn't put him up there.
No. You know why I don't say nothing about championships? What did Nick Wright say? Tell me something that Michael Jordan was better than without mentioning championships. Here's my argument about that. If LeBron has 6 championships, everybody that loves LeBron would be talking about the 6 championships. So if you don't want to talk about championships, I don't want to hear about how many championships this dude ever wins.
Yeah, I got you.
That's not what makes you great. They've said so.
Right.
So don't talk to me about championships. Talk to me about what you did when it mattered with a lesser team. This dude has done a lot with a lesser team. I'll give him that. He's also dismantled tons of lesser teams to make better teams. That also should go into the equation.
Right. So what's your prediction on it?
With just draft picks, when you can't just win with, guys that, just got added to the team or whatever, you can't make that work. You should, but you don't.
All right, man. So I'm going Lakers 4-1. I think Miami.
I'm going 4-2.
I'm going 4-1 because I think Miami get one because LeBron will have his game. He has his game where he'll coast, and AD always has at least 1 or 2 games where he's a little bit off. And so I'll give Miami 1 game, but I think just talent-wise and everything, I think the Lakers will be a little bit.
Talent is going to be an issue, and like I said, I'm going to go 4-2.
I'm going to go 4-1.
Down for prosperity. Sean said 4-1. I say 4-2. We're going to see what happens. So let's make this quick transition into the NFL real quick. We'll chop it up about the Browns and Cowboys game real fast and let y'all folks get out of here and let us get out of here because my man has a lot of cookie dough to put together. I don't know if y'all like snacks.
Right.
I don't know if y'all, are into cookies or not. But from what I understand, he hasn't shared with me, so I ain't going to be pissy. But my man is the cookie guy right now. He's a budding entrepreneur. We're going to have a spot on the show so that we can tell you guys about it and how you can get in contact with him about it.
Always follow me.
Got a lot of cookies to make.
Here's my shameless plug. You can follow me at Crumbs on the Table LLC on Instagram.
It wasn't
shameless. All your delicious.
Look, I set you up for it, dog.
Right.
I gave you the
order. All your delicious sweet treats and cookies. Follow me on Instagram at Crumbs on the Table. LLC.
Crumbs on the Table. Come check him out, man.
Not in a million years I ever thought that I'd be slinging cookies all around the city.
Slinging cookies like they crack, son.
Right.
And I watch cats beg him for the cookies, so I can't. Ain't no hate for me. I'm like, damn, gotta be good. If people hitting him up all the time.
Also have some other things coming soon too. Food wise.
Well, look, we both do.
Yes, sir.
So we hustlers. We out here, but
got to nowadays. You gotta have multiple streams of income out here.
We're good hustlers. We're above the table hustlers.
Yes, sir.
I don't want nobody to watch this show and be like, oh, they hustle. No,
right.
Above the table, legal. Not trying to go to jail, and we're just trying to make our mark in the world and other businesses, but also in sports. So,
yes, sir. All right, now
it's a great segue.
Browns are going down to
this week.
Yeah, we're going down to Jerry World.
The Browns are going to the $1 billion playpen.
Right, and I hate the Cowboys.
Dallas, Texas.
I can't stand them. I hate their fans.
Yep. There aren't many teams on earth, and I know my cousins always tell me, you shouldn't use the word hate. Whatever.
Right.
I use hate when I mean hate, and I hate Dallas Cowboys. Not the city of Dallas. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. They're one of the many teams it's not that many teams I hate. They're one of the few teams that I actually literally hate. I don't like anything about them.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I hate it all.
The Browns have been so bad for the last 20 years that I really hate the whole NFL. except for the Browns. I really got that
I'm
point.
indifferent to a lot of guys in the NFL. I don't hate a lot of teams. I'm just indifferent at this point.
I'm a hater. I don't want to see anybody succeed that hadn't succeeded. Like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
And this is what I got to deal with every week.
You know why I didn't want them to win? Because they had just a longer drought as the Browns did, and I didn't want them to break that drought. I don't want their fans celebrating. I want,
and that's nothing but hate. That's all hate.
Look, I don't have time. I don't have time for foolishness no more. I'm 46. I'm tired. I don't have time.
Look, I'm tired too, but I understand that we have to figure this thing out on our
All
side.
I want is one Super Bowl. I got my basketball championship. I have my college championship.
I want one too.
Ohio
I want more than one, to be honest, but I will take just one.
Ohio State.
I would have been fine. I would be fine with just one championship. The
Buckeyes have delivered 2 national championships. The Cavs got my basketball championship. Now I need the Indians to win a World Series.
We almost did it in 2016.
Almost.
But that's why I say
win the Super Bowl.
Look, that's why we were talking about in the last show that somehow we feel like possibly the Lord might be against Cleveland.
Yeah.
I
don't know what we did. I don't know what we did to piss off the Lord, but he definitely has it in for us. All right, that's another story. All right, Browns, Dallas. Here's my keys to the game. Dallas had a really tough loss against Seattle last week. They put up a lot of points. It didn't go into overtime, did it? No, it didn't go into overtime.
No. I
think that was right. That's Russell Wilson had a strike to DK Metcalf late, put him up by 7, and Dak Prescott threw an interception late in that game for him to lose the game. So Dallas will put up points. Now, if we let Washington move the football and Cincinnati move the football, Dallas will definitely move the football against one of the crappiest defenses in the NFL right now, which is us. So I think one of the keys to the game, Baker is going to have to step up this game, man, because Dallas is going to focus on the run. They're going to really probably put 8, 9 in the box to shut down Chubb and Hunt. So Baker's going to take advantage of that. Could be a lot of one-on-one matchups with Odell and Jarvis. And he's going to have a big game, man. Also, we've got to get pressure on Dak Prescott. Can't let him sit back there and pick us apart with those weapons. Michael Gallup has really developed into a really, really good receiver. You got the rookie CeeDee Lamb, and you also got Amari Cooper. And, of course, you got Zeke, man. So they got some weapons out there. Oh, yeah. So our defense will have to – I don't expect us to shut down Dallas at all. That's not going to happen. But they're going to have to make some timely plays when it counts, kind of like a bend, don't break type defense to kind of keep us in that game. So those are my keys, especially Baker. Like, number one, like, Baker, it's your time, man. Like, you've been kind of being a game manager the first 3 games, but this game, you back in your home state too. You got family and friends there.
Right.
Yeah, man, you want to come and step out. You got to put up some numbers this week if we expect to beat the Cowboys.
All right. Well, we're not going to pick that game quite yet. We're just going to talk about the game.
Gotcha.
But I agree with a lot of your points about the game in general. So, like I said, Dallas is going to score, and they can score a lot. They got weapons. They have a decent quarterback. I'm not that crazy about Dak Prescott, but what he does works well for what they do.
As a matter of fact, until he wins a play, has he won a playoff game? Did he win at least one?
I don't think he has.
I'm not sure. Because until then, we just call him by his full name. We don't call him Dakota. Dakota Prescott. Until you win a playoff game and you're out here demanding $300 million contracts, you ain't won nothing.
Well,
not a thing.
Thank you for that segue, because I was going to say I'm not that impressed with Dak Prescott. And apparently neither is Jerry Jones.
Right.
Because he hasn't paid this guy. Now, Dak has won a lot of games for Dallas. I'm never advocating for the brothers not to get their money. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just throwing
especially in NFL, where you're right, man. You're right.
Listen, get that money, man.
You're right.
Get that generational money that nobody else can.
Exactly.
I like that.
I agree with you 100%.
So I wish you get your money. However, if it were my team, I'm not sure that I'd give you that. But so we got to contain Dak, because Dak can cause problems on two levels. He runs, he's mobile.
Right.
He's
not a bum. He's not a bum by no means.
No, he's not a bum. He's not a bum. You can say whatever you want to about him. You can like him, love him, hate him. He can play football. He's a football player. That's where I put him at. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but he can play football, and he is a problem. He's a problem on the field if you don't take care of him from a defensive standpoint. So we have to contain Dak. We got to figure out how you're gonna approach him. Whether it's going to be from, blitzing him. But if you blitz him, you have to do a lot of contained blitzes from the middle.
Right.
I think that's the most effective blitzing of him, unless you just get somebody who just goes berserk and can get him from the outside. But I think that when you come outside and don't have that up the middle containment, it really hurts what you're going to do next. So I'm thinking a lot of up the middle. Hold on a second. I'm going to change my screen real quick so I can plug in my phone. So I think that he has to, the defense has to contain him up the middle, a lot of up the middle pressures. But I also think that up the middle pressures are going to help us with the run game, because Zeke's going to be Zeke. I don't think you're going to prevent Zeke from being Zeke. I don't think you're going to stop Zeke from being Zeke. Our team defensively hasn't proven that they can they haven't proven that they can stop anything.
Exactly.
Water,
right.
Anything. They haven't stopped really anybody. They've had moments where they've done one or two or three really, really good things, but they haven't done enough to make me say, oh, we can stop this, or oh, we can do this. So we still have issues defensively, but if we contain that, figure out a way to contain him, keep him in the pocket, because I'd rather he beat us as a passer than as a guy who's running all over the field and passing.
Yeah, I agree.
And limit Zeke. Zeke could probably he's probably going to run for over 100 yards, a guy being as equipped as Zeke. But if we can keep him, to a manageable, I don't know what the hell that is per se, but a manageable or a reasonable amount of yards, I think that could benefit us. Like, he can't have 150 yards.
No.
But he can't have 135 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. Rather.
Right.
We have to limit him to, let's say, a touchdown and maybe like 115 yards. I think now we have the opportunity to say we're in this game, or that we can do these things in the game. That's right. On the defensive side. Offensively, Baker has to go for over 200 yards. And I know that's a low number, but he didn't have – I think he only had like 160 yards the other night. Or
like 159, 156, something like that.
So he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to be more active downfield. So that means he's going to have to utilize Jarvis and OBJ a little bit more. And I felt like after week 2 we had that kind of settled, where OBJ showed that he can be a monster in the one-on-ones, and that we would go back to that. I think we're going to have to do that again to create the problem or the potential problem downfield, which will open up some of those middle throws for us, which goes right into my next point. They got to utilize Hooper more. So if you can stretch the field a little bit, that gets Hooper a few more catches.
And they started to a little bit last week.
He did, and I appreciated that. Again, I think we need to continue that type of action. We got to keep going that way, because Dallas actually has a solid defense and a solid defensive line So that'll keep a little bit of pressure off of you. I think our offensive line is been playing well. As I said last week, I gave them high marks, high regard, and everybody's been giving them high marks. So they've been playing really, really, really good football. But you want to help them out as much as possible, make them have as little contact as they need. And again, I'm going to go right back to what I've been saying from week one. Passes, quick screens it could be the hunt, it could be wide receiver screens, it could be tight end screens. But we got to do stuff to make their defensive line look for different stuff. We can't let them just set up and run up field. And Myles Garrett. We've talked about Myles Garrett every single solitary show that we've had, and we're going to talk about him again. Myles has to be a monster. So I utilized our crack staff, for these numbers. Myles Garrett is actually tied for second in sacks with 3.
Okay.
He has 2 forced fumbles, which is 3rd in the league, and he has 1 fumble recovery. So Myles Garrett is actually playing right along where he needs to be. And he hasn't really gotten started yet.
I've been pretty critical of Myles Garrett so far this season.
Yeah, he hasn't really gotten started yet. So I'm thinking
plays, he hasn't been as disruptive as I would like him to be.
Well, I mean, hell, nobody's going to be as disruptive as they need to be with that kind of money on the table. He has to, pick off every ball or knock down every ball or get a strip sack every second drop back. You know what I mean? But I think he's getting his legs. I think he's starting to find his spots, because when I see those numbers, and even though it ain't really about numbers totally, when I see those numbers, that means there's the stuff that I've been seeing, him in the backfield and him almost making sacks and him getting really close and bothering and all that. That stuff is real, because he's starting to get tangible results from it.
Right.
So I think that if those things go well, we could have a decent enough game. We're going to have to put up some points, though. We ain't going to be able to do no pedestrian 17 points or no bullshit like that. We're going to have to put up some points. That game was like 30-something. They were in their 30s, both teams, or right at 30. So we're going to have to put up some points, and we've proven that we can do that, even without 5 turnovers. But we're going to have to do it against a better defense down in Dallas.
Okay. All right, partner. Let's go ahead and we're going to have a new segment where we go ahead and make predictions. I think we pick 5 games.
We're going to pick 5 games. 5 games is what we're going to do. Random 5 games. Some of them are a little more difficult than others to pick. And then, but we're gonna make our predictions, and then we're gonna keep the records to see who picked the best at the end of the season.
And I'm sure I'll win that easily. The first game we have the Denver Broncos against the New York Jets on Thursday night. A typical piece of shit game.
A clunker.
Thursday night. A clunker.
That's a clunker.
The Jets are terrible. I feel really bad for Sam Darnold. He's put in a bad situation. He's going to get
I feel really bad for anybody that's on the Jets.
Yeah. Adam Gates is a horrible coach. He was horrible in Miami.
That dude is
horrible in New York. The thing is, though, I don't know who the Broncos quarterback is. Is it that Driscoll?
Brett Rippon.
What?
Brett Rippon.
Oh, yeah. The kid from Boise State?
Yeah.
Where's this game? Is it in New York? Well, I should say New Jersey.
It's in New York. It's in New York.
It's in New Jersey. All right. I'm gonna go Jets. I'm gonna go Jets to get off the snide. So they 0-3. And the Broncos starting a guy. He's probably never taken a snap in the NFL. I'm gonna go Jets this game.
Okay. So as you said, Sam Darnold and anybody who's on the active and practice roster for the Jets are in a really bad situation right now. Adam Gase, I don't even know what the hell to say about that dude. He's not. He proved that he wasn't any good. Somehow he got another job. I wish I could
Peyton
be
Manning
awful.
co-signed him. That's
I
almost
wish I could be awful at something and then get another job doing the exact same thing.
right.
Like right afterwards, by the way. Not after time, not after spending some time on TV and you change up your image. No, go right back and get another job. High profile job, by the way. Any job in New York is a high profile job. With all those things said, the Broncos have a really good run defense. They stink in the pass defense. I think Greg Williams is going to tune up the young kid. He's probably going to put some stuff together to really bother him. The one thing I do know about Greg Williams, he is pretty aggressive on defense.
Yeah.
And even though Sam Darnold threw 3 picks last week, I think I'm going to go with the Jets as well. I think it's just sitting better for them than it is the Broncos. The Broncos are terrible too. They're both 0-3, but the Broncos are hurt a little bit more. Again, you got this young kid that's a quarterback. I don't know that he's ready. He could come out tomorrow and throw for 400 yards for all I know. But I'm going to go with the Jets.
All right. So the next game we have is the COVID Bowl with the Steelers and the Titans. So we don't even know if this game's even going to be played, but
Supposedly,
I guess they pushed it back to they pushed it back to Monday or Tuesday. I'm going Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been pulling out games. Big Ben is back. I hate even predicting them to win. I can't believe they even came out of my mouth because that's another team I despise.
Well, listen,
the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate everything. I mean, I really, 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 really hate them.
Listen, I agree.
But I'm going with Pittsburgh over Tennessee in this game.
You know, I am in 1,000% agreement with your issues with Pittsburgh. I can't stand Pittsburgh. I hate the Steelers. And where I said I hate Dallas as a team and not the city, I actually hate going into Pittsburgh. I hate it. However, Pittsburgh's going to win this game. I have them picked as well. Stupid Ben Roethlisberger is back. He's actually been playing pretty good, and that's not a surprise. He's a Hall of Famer.
And I think playing lights out.
Yeah, I think so. That defense is playing.
And they're playing aggressive, man, like super aggressive. So
that defense is playing nasty right now. They're holding teams to less than like 3 yards a carry or something like that. I don't know who all the guys are that they played, who the running backs were. That I would say, whoa, I take that back. Yeah, I do. One of them being in the Giants, Saquon.
Saquon, yeah.
Like, I think the dude had 30 yards.
No, I think he was almost negative. I don't think he even had that many.
Like, it was crazy.
It was really bad.
So their defensive line is legit, although the Giants are absolute trash. So, but nonetheless,
but you beat who's on your schedule.
Yeah.
You know, so
hey, nonetheless, they made the guy look very, very human, and I think Saquon is beyond human. But I think that also I can't leave.
I'm not a Saquon Barkley fan at all. I think he's another guy that's overrated as hell.
No.
Yeah, he is. He was overrated at Penn State. He's overrated in the NFL.
No.
Yep, I disagree. He can't stay healthy.
Listen, he can't now. Not staying healthy and being overrated is two different things.
Well, that's part of it. You can't be a superstar if you're not on the field.
You need to be on the field. However, being hurt and not being good are two different things, bro.
Anytime Saquon goes up against a top defense, he gets shut down. When he was at Penn State and they played Ohio State or Michigan State, any team with a good defense,
do you understand that
he got shut down.
you do understand there's nothing else on that damn team, right? So we can load up against you because we're better defensively than your stupid offense. This damn quarterback is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones stinks, and he stunk before he got there. And
Well,
they
look,
knew he stunk, and they ain't do nothing to help us.
I'm glad that we did not draft Saquon Barkley, but that's
Listen, I
another
wish we
story.
would have drafted Saquon. No, that ain't nothing against. That ain't nothing against. The only reason I can say that, all right, we good without him, is because we ended up with Nick Chubb. That was a great call. I wouldn't have done that. However, I'm not going to dog Saquon. I think Saquon.
And Nick Chubb,
I
and
said
Nick
Saquon
Chubb,
should have been the guy. But
and
I'm
Nick
glad
Chubb
we
is
got it.
Nick
All
Chubb
right.
is better than Saquon.
I mean, right now, yeah. And he damn sure got a better offensive line than Saquon. Now, Saquon a couple years ago was running over cats with an awful offensive line. He hasn't had a bad career. He just got hurt last year. But having said all
overrated.
this, I picked the Steelers to win that game.
All right.
Battle of the 3-0 teams.
All right, so we're both going with Pittsburgh in that game. All right. Bills and Raiders. All right, here's the thing. The Bills do this every year. Start off 3-0, 4-0, or whatever. Start off hot, and then at some point during the season, they remember that they're the Buffalo Bills, and they have a free fall.
Tragic.
Every year. And they made the playoffs last. They kind of backed into the playoffs last year.
Yep.
Josh Allen, to me, another guy's overrated. He is making plays, but he's like super inaccurate. I don't trust him at all. But they're going up against the Raiders. The Raiders are maybe the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the NFL. You don't know what Raider team is going to show up from week to week. So this is a tough one, man. Bills are kind of just riding high right now.
It's in Vegas, though. Remember that. It's in Vegas.
Yeah, but it's no fans. It's no fans.
It could be the travel that takes them out, dog. You never know.
Yeah, but they're in the comfortable confines. What they call it, the Death Star up there.
Yeah.
In the comfortable confines of the Death Star. I'm going Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo this game.
So Devin Singletary looks pretty impressive to me. The running back for Buffalo. He's gotten off. Had almost 100 yards in both of the games they played, or in the last two games they played. I'm sorry. Josh Allen actually looks like a quarterback. Like they're going to him a lot more now than they were, I think, even last year. He actually
it was only a matter of time.
A competent quarterback. Yeah, you know it was only a matter of time. I mean, you know,
so it's only a matter of time
for him to be.
Before they figure him out.
But you know what? I agree with that too. So I mean, he's a young guy, so you just got to figure out what his tendencies are. But he's got a huge arm, and he's played well the last couple weeks. Also, as I said about the Titans, who still have Ryan Tannehill, and I don't trust that dude. I think with the Raiders, they still have Derek Carr, who I don't know that the Raiders are so inconsistent. I think Derek Carr is the inconsistency. I agree. He's the guy that kind of changes that dynamic. Like, he'll go out for 2 games and really look awesome. That make you say, like, oh, he might have figured it out. And then he'll have a 3-game stretch, and you're like, this dude stinks. And trust me, I spent a lot of time in Vegas over the last 2 years, so I watched a lot of Raiders games. And that's the effect that he gave to a lot of people that were sitting around me at bars and in regular conversations with the supposed Raider Nation fans that were in Vegas. They kind of aren't sure about Derek Carr, and neither am I. So we're on the same page again. I'm going with the Bills.
Going Buffalo.
This one out in that game.
All right. In the other game, we have Eagles-Niners. Now, the Niners have been decimated with injuries. They managed to beat the Giants, which really speaks to how bad the Giants are. I mean, because the Niners came in with probably about like 5 healthy players, and they beat the hell out the Giants.
And they went both ways.
They beat the hell out of them. Yeah, they beat the hell out of them. Now, granted, the Giants had injuries too, but with the amount of injuries that the 49ers had, and it was in New York,
Yeah.
New Jersey,
Yeah, there's no way.
with the Giants play. It's
There's
no
no
way
way
they should have went in
went
there
that
and won that game.
Okay.
Right, exactly. So now the Eagles are interesting, man. Carson Wentz, I don't know what happened to him. He hasn't really been the same since Nick Foles took his place and won that Super Bowl. He hadn't been the same guy. His first 2 years in the league, he was cocky, throwing the ball over the field, super athletic, running the ball, doing everything he needed to do to make the Eagles win. Hasn't been that guy. I'm going to go, but they're due for a win. They're what, 0-3? No, 1-2.
0-2-1.
They won it. Oh, yeah, right. They tied with the Bengals. Well, that's embarrassing at that. You tied with Cincy at home. But I'm going to go Eagles.
Okay.
Because I don't think that the 49ers 2 weeks in a row can overcome all those injuries. So I'm going Philly with this one.
Well, kind of echo your first or one of your main points, which is the injuries. Both sides have a lot of injuries. Both teams are been hit up, and the NFL in general has been hit up with some huge injury issues. But last week, Nick Mullins actually looked like a starting quarterback. Now I don't know if that was because of who they were playing, and
yeah,
or not, but he did look like he could, be a guy that could be counted on, going into especially a game like this.
Right.
Where
and
you're
he
playing
stood
a team
in for Garoppolo before. And he stepped
yeah,
in and played pretty well.
But you know what?
Yes,
those are one of those teams, or one of those situations where you're like, all right, that was a couple games. You guys were rolling, and they had everything else around him. So he was just a kind of a fill-in. Now, this dude is a fill-in with a whole bunch of other fill-ins, and he still looked, pretty solid. So I judged that one a little bit differently.
Okay.
However, he has to do it again. He has to do it, on Sunday night where there's no other games going on. And sometimes, the lights.
It's a Sunday night game?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night game. So the lights kind of change up how that happens, or how you look, or
That's awful Sunday.
That's going to be awful. Terrible. Listen, think about this. Though. You got 2 0-3 teams playing on Thursday night, and then on Sunday night you have the Eagles and the Niners, who are probably going to put a helmet on the valet guy outside of the stadium. So with a lot of that said, I still have on the Eagles side, I got a shit ton of questions about Carson Wentz, bro. I don't know what happened to the dude either. I don't know. It seems like he can't make the regular throws consistently anymore. So I don't know if it's injuries.
One of the knocks on him coming out of college was injuries and accuracy. Those are kind of his.
And that's where we're at with him right now. He's not accurate, and he's been injured. So maybe you're starting to hit that crossroad bullseye where and accuracies come together.
Right. There's been some questions about his leadership too. There's rumblings about some players not really liking him.
Yeah.
In the locker room. So but I'm still going Eagles. Going Eagles this game.
I'm going 49ers actually. I'm gonna go Niners in this one.
Okay.
Because I think that Mullins at quarterback might be something a little more consistent than what we're getting out of Wentz. So I'm gonna go Niners in that game.
All right, and then finally, the only game that matters in the NFL, in the universe, the Cleveland Browns versus the Dallas Cowboys. I don't feel good about going into this game just for the simple fact that Dallas has their backs against the wall. They're going to be desperate. It's on the road. we historically just don't play well against the Cowboys. When was the last time we beat the Cowboys, man? Was it
I think it was in the 90s.
Yeah, I want to say
like early 90s or late
the
80s.
Bernie Kosar days, man. No, the last time we beat them was with Vinny Testaverde.
We have Vinny, yeah.
We had Vinny. It was a Saturday game. We went on the road and knocked them off. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, we have Vinny.
And we maybe have beat them, but you know what? Because after that, we left, moved to Baltimore after that the next year. And since we've been back, I don't think we've beaten them.
The last game I remember us playing the Cowboys since we've been back was when we had Braylon and K2, and we got shellacked.
No, but just recently, we had Colt. I think Colt McCoy is a starting quarterback, maybe.
Listen, I probably blacked out on one of those.
Yeah. I mean, but Dak, I know Dak was the quarterback. He was a rookie. So Dak, Zeke, and them came in town, and they beat the hell out of us.
I probably blacked out at that game.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't historically. Now I don't know about back in the day. I think back in the day we used to go toe to toe with them. But recently, in the modern era, we haven't played that well against the Cowboys. And this situation said their backs are against the wall. So I'm going to have to go Cowboy. I think it's going to be like a 31-23 type game. We kind of hang around, maybe have a chance to win the game, and then somebody will do something stupid on defense, or they'll get a lucky call or something like that turns the tide of the game. So I'm gonna have to pick against my team and go with the hated America's bandwagon.
Okay. And I honestly have to say that your assessment makes a lot of sense. This is an opportunity though for not just Baker, but this is a huge opportunity for Kevin Stefanski to come up with a way to beat this team. Our defense has not been playing great. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys offensively are a better team than we are offensively because they've done it for a longer period of time. They have a familiarity with each other. They understand where they're supposed to be, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a huge opportunity for the team to get a win that ain't supposed to happen in most cases. Baker does have to be bigger. He has to play better. Nick Chubb is going to have to be a freaking tank, which he already is, but he's going to have to really we're probably going to need about 130 yards out of this guy. I don't know if he's going to get that because of the way that they're splitting, and Dallas is actually pretty good against the run, but we're going to need that type of effort. Saying all those things, I'm gonna put my hat in the ring with my boys. I think we're gonna come out. I think we're gonna pull this thing out. I'm calling a 30-28 game.
Okay.
For the Browns.
And I hope you're right. Now, if we win this game, I'm getting the biggest steak in the world in honor of Texas. You know, Texas love their beef, and I'm throwing that boy on the grill. It'll be about 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'll be celebrating with a steak and a brew.
You gotta go.
Biggest steak I can
tomahawk,
find.
Homie. You gotta go and get you a big tomahawk steak, bro.
Exactly, because I'll be on cloud nine. We go down there and we beat the Cowboys. Because one of my best friends, Corey Hill, he's really the one that made me hate the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, Corey.
Corey Hill, if you watch this podcast, you are the reason why I hate the Cowboys.
Corey is.
We're talking about Danny White and Tony Dorsett and
let me tell you something.
Tony Hill.
I don't know
if
there's one other person that could be a bigger jerk than myself or Sean.
It's Corey Hill.
It's Corey. And I mean, we were kids. Look, this dude was a jerk as a kid.
Right.
And I don't mean just a guy that you don't like. I don't mean just a guy that was kind of difficult to get along. He was a jerk
And we don't mean jerk in a negative, not in the bad way.
No.
That's my boy,
No,
my
no,
brother.
no.
I love
No,
him
no,
to death.
we love Corey. We love Corey.
Right.
However, we have apparently been born in a brotherhood of jerkdom. So, Corey, if you're watching this, I don't want to hear your crap, and don't you go on my Facebook page unless the Browns win.
Right, exactly.
All
right, man.
I'm the same way. Other than Corey, I got a bunch of people that are from Dallas or that love the stupid Cowboys. So I got to hear that. I got a cousin who's from Pennsylvania, and his favorite team is the Cowboys. I said, "What's wrong with you, man?"
Right, that ugly ass star. Matter
So
of
I'm
fact,
gonna
that ain't
probably
even a
do his
star.
crap too. But
That's not even a star. It's a pentagram. It's a sign of Satan.
it's a
The side of that. The side of that helmet. I can't
I hate
stand them.
I hate him, and I hope that we can figure out a way that I think we can. We almost have to play perfect on defense, though.
Got
And
to.
that's gonna be the problem. So, but I'm gonna roll with the boys.
All right.
So-
So we'll see how that plays out. Now, before we sign off, a quick note about the Indians game. It started late. They just started. There's some type of weather delay. I didn't hear it raining outside, but I guess maybe because of the
And I
rain.
knew that was gonna happen.
Maybe a little rain, a little wind. They just started. We're in the first inning. And so far, was one out in the top of the first. So Cookie's starting off okay, but
So-
now Aaron Judge is at the plate. So
It's super early. But I kind of expected the rain only because I watched the Minnesota game earlier, and it was raining there, and it was windy when I was watching the Cubs game.
Okay.
So it was windy in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It was windy.
Yeah, in Chicago.
It was windy and raining in Minnesota. It was windy in Chicago, and they were expecting rain. And I was like, "Oh yeah, we got about 2 hours. I don't know what that's gonna look like."
Right. Right.
So, go Tribe. I'm all in.
Let's go Tribe.
I think we're gonna
Let's
get
go.
this tonight. Let's go. So when we meet on Sunday, hopefully we're talking about the Indians in the next round of the playoffs. Definitely gonna recap all of the NFL and the NBA finals. Thank you guys, whoever you are, however you are. If you guys want to contact us, you can. We have our website. I also have the email, the two guys in the mic, 216@gmail.com. So if you guys want to contact us, tell us some things that you would like to hear on the show, or tell us how you want to, things to change a little bit different, or us to speak about some things that you guys might be a little more interested in.
And hopefully at some point maybe we can have some guests come in, because we know a lot of people who love to talk crap about sports.
Hey, listen, I got a list of guys. I'm sure you got a list of guys. We could probably go on and on and on.
Right.
So, again, contact us, get at us, let us know how you like things, let us know how you don't like things. I'm fine either way. Again, we appreciate you guys. Sean, love you. Appreciate you too, homie.
Love you too, bro.
And let's go watch some sports, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Peace
We'll
out,
holler.
guys. Love you.